Hello, everyone. I hope by God's grace you are all fine. As I'm fine over here, as a proud Legonite. I welcome you to another wonderful episode of the Academic Showdown for the 213 Introduction to Public Administration. We are all preparing towards our exam. So there is a need to help people. Because when you help people and you see that people are yielding positive results, that keeps you confident and motivates you to do more, and also inspire others to help people. That is why we are doing all these things, to help each other. My name is Joseph Bafowa, as you all know. You can also call me Nana Bafowa to see on your screens. And I'm going to be your moderator for this wonderful episode. Today we are going to talk about the administrative law and ethics. The administrative law and ethics. As I do say, I always want to make it brief for us, but will never deny you of some wonderful and important points, definitions, features that you have to know, so that you can also go back and read your personal notes, tutorial notes, and also go through the articles. Yes. So administrative law. The first thing I'm going to talk about is discretionary powers. People who had powers, either legitimate power or through coup d'etat, that happens not in a democratic state, but an autocratic one, had discretionary powers. That is, they could decide how to carry out activities on their own. They could decide how to do things. So the president, having discretionary power, can decide to stand in for the nation, to join forces with other international bodies or not. That is how the discretionary powers were working. There's another terminology we also have to know. That is the jurisdiction. Jurisdiction refers to the territory within which you work. A jurisdiction means a territory within which you work. So in other words, when you act beyond your jurisdiction, whatever you do is said to be a null and void. That is ultra virus. So if you're a president of Ghana and you have to work within the jurisdiction of the country, then you go beyond, go to Nigeria and go and do something that you've not been assigned to do. It is referred to as a null and void, personality work, ultra virus. So when you're asked what is an ultra virus, you can also say it is whatever somebody does beyond its jurisdiction. It could be a question. What is ultra virus? 2 months sharp now. So these are the two terminologies that we have to know before we dive into the topic administrative law. So administrative law came into existence to regulate discretionary powers. That was how administrative law came about. When you look at the definition of administrative law, it says the legal framework that shapes and defines public administrators. It will also be the laid down rules and regulations that regulates the activities of administrations and agencies to work. So the definition of administrative law is saying that it is a legal framework. A legal framework that is binded by laws that shapes, regulates it determines, it guides, it keeps the administrative personnel in what? In line, not to abuse their power, not to go wayward, but to do the right work. So administrative law is the legal framework that shapes and defines public administrators or lay down rules and regulations that regulate the activities of an administration or agency's work. That is the definition for administrative law. So the next subtopic to look is the components of administrative law. Components. What are the components of administrative law? As I always say, it is quite unfortunate I don't project slides. I hope after the Christmas break, I'll be able to do a lot of slides that I'll be able to project as we go on. But these are notes I made from the articles, notes I made from class and tutorial sessions, then I combine them together. And I know by God's grace, it has been helpful to all of us because I always like the comments that are coming. I always like the number of people that are viewing, and I really appreciate all of you for participating in the agenda we have before us, that is the academic showdown to get academic excellence. And I know God no be shame us. By all means, is going to help us to achieve that on MIS. Maybe not on Sakai, but on MIS. Yes. So components of administrative law. We have the executive order. When we say the executive order, what is the executive order? The power to make decisions without going through Congress or any external forces. That is the executive order. The extraordinary power. You see, the president has the veto power. He has some discretionary powers that he can exercise on not to go into Congress, not to go into any long processes and not any external forces to, should I say, influence on the kind of decisions that he is making. That is the executive order with respect to the executive arm of government. The first component is the executive order. The second component is the court decisions. The court decisions, when we say court decisions, it refers to the guidelines on how administrative agencies should work. So court decisions, you know that if you work this way, you are going to receive a reward. If you work that way, you are going to be penalized, and you can even go into prison, or you could be fined to pay some amount of money and other things. So the court decisions makes us know how we should do certain things. Like, it is a guideline. It is something that you look up to, that after doing this, what will be the response? So the guidelines on how administrative agencies should work is also the court's decision from the judiciary arm of government. Then we have several rules and regulations. We already know the importance of rules and regulations to regulate the activities of public administrators. So there are several rules and regulations over there. Certain things that you're expected to do, certain things that you are not expected to do. These come from the parliament. They give rules and regulations that if you are even bringing out a food or a drug, it has to be what? Approved by the FDA. These are rules and regulations that regulate administrative agencies on how to what? On how to work. So these are the three components I have in my book as components of administrative law. The executive order, as I've already explained, the court's decisions, and several rules and regulations. Can you pardon me if you hear background noise? You know, cars are around the hostel, so they are always moving around and other things. but I'll try my possible best to project my voice very loud and clear so that you will not get distracted. Then we come to the next subtopic, that why administrative law? What are some reasons why we should have administrative law? What are the importance of administrative law? I'm giving you several words because if you go, then it's not why, then we have reasons, or we have merits, or we have essence, or we have importance. You know that they are all the same. So the first point is to prevent the abuse of discretionary what? Powers. Because the complaints make us know that there are some laid down rules and regulations, court guidance that guides the activities of these administrative agencies. And the discretionary power talks about the power they had to decide to do certain things on their own. And when you give power to someone and you don't limit the person, you know, sometimes there could be abuse of power. The person will feel so proud to the extent that he thinks no one can stop him. He is the boss and king, and begins to what? Misuse the power. So administrative law came to regulate and prevent the abuse of such powers. That is the first point, the abuse of discretionary powers. Discretionary powers refers to how someone can decide to carry certain things on its own, activities on their own. That is discretionary power. Point 2, it promotes transparency. Administrative law promotes transparency. It is showing how they should work, and they should be transparent to the people. The majority has to know what is going on. That's why we are always updated on news that is what is going on at the parliament, at the court, certain decisions and dealings that the government is going through. They make it transparent to us. So we are always updated about the current things that are going on in the country, so that they could be accounted for their actions and inactions. Transparency. Everything is clear to the public. Administrative law makes that thing happen. The next point is set parameters. Administrative law sets parameters. That is within parameters means within which they should work. So your jurisdiction, as I explained jurisdiction at the introductory part. So the administrative law sets parameters, your jurisdiction. If you're a member of parliament at this constituency, work within your constituency. Don't go and stand in someone's constituency, then go and see this thing is no good, so I'm coming to do it for you over here. What are you trying to tell the person? If you're president of Ghana, don't go and stand at Egypt, then say that they did not build their houses well, so you are going to build their house well for them. University of Ghana host us in senior. So that is this certain parameters. They know their jurisdiction, the territory, the areas they should what? They should work. Administrative law also promotes public interest. That is the value for money, protecting the nation's purse. I know we all know about that. So these are some of the reasons why the term administrative law was propounded, to promote the abuse or to prevent the abuse of what? Discretionary powers by our executives, judiciary, and any other person who has power, to promote transparency and accountability, to set parameters, and to also promote the public interest. That is all about administrative law. Right now, let's move on to ethics, because we are treating administrative law and ethics together. So ethics. When we say ethics, what are ethics? We can say that ethics also means the standard expectations, the code of conduct, what they can do or not, the right and wrong. That is ethics. We also have the moral principles of what? public administrators. That could also refer to as ethics. So the empirical definition for ethics is the well-defined principles of administrators that defines what they ought to do. Ethics is the well-defined principles of administrators that defines what they ought to do. That is ethics. What do you have to do? What is expected of you? As a public administrator, what is expected of you? What are you supposed to do? This is well-defined. I think it's self-explanatory, and we don't have other ways to explain ethics, but we all understand ethics. So let's move on to the general principles of ethics. Wherever you go, what are the things or the principles of ethics that run through any administrative agency in any country or on any continent? So the first one is punctuality. We have several of them. We have punctuality. You know that punctuality is a key. When you are working in any organization, you have to be punctual. Even as students, you always have to be punctual in lecture rooms and other things. Teachers also have to be punctual. Administration management have to be punctual in the administrative work and everything. So wherever you go, there is no way someone will punish you for being punctual, but you're always going to be rewarded. These are the general principles: punctuality, accountability. Accountability. You're always accountable. When you're a banker or a treasurer in an organization, you're always putting things down. The sum total of maybe egg plates or something, you've written it down. Like you're making sure that whatever goes on over there, you have references to them. And when you are told to come and account for what you've done so far, you'll be able to account. That is accountability. We also have honesty, being truthful, being honest in whatever you do. Sikano na area can say, it was me, no matter the punishment. You are being honest with a person. You don't tell lies. You don't try to deceive people. You don't try to change figures in your administrative work. When it's 5,000 Ghana cedis, you do it 30,000. Or you can also do it 100,000 Ghana cedis. No. If you do that, you are not being loyal. We have honesty too as well. You are always being, and we have loyalty. Someone that we can always trust. You are loyal with whatever you are doing. You don't try to deceive people. These are some general principles of ethics that regulate through all administrative works. So, do you think, per the definition of administrative law and ethics, we are going to have some differences between them? But we say administrative law is the legal framework that shapes and defines public administrators or agencies, and ethics are well-defined principles of administrators that defines what they ought to do. So if you are saying this, then I think we have differences. So the next subtopic is differences of administrative law and ethics. Administrative law affects a jurisdiction. Ethics is universal. As I said, the jurisdiction means the territory. So the administrative law, the laws that are set in the country right now, like the Republic of Ghana, the Fourth Republic of Ghana, they cannot also affect in USA, because our territories do not extend to the territories or the jurisdiction of the United States of America. So these laws are effective only here, but not even in Togo. No, but only in the jurisdiction of Ghana. So law is limited. It affects jurisdiction, but ethics is universal. When you look at punctuality, it affects in every organization, irrespective of where you are. You always have to be punctual. You have to be honest. You have to account for whatever you do. You have to be loyal. These are certain things. These are certain ethical principles that affect every organization universally. But law is affected. It affects a jurisdiction. Point number 2. Most administrative laws are codified, but ethics is not codified. That is, ethics is conventions and behavior. Administrative laws, most of them are written. The Constitution of Ghana gives us the law and everything. They are codified. They've been filed in one document. We can make references to them. We can know that, oh yes, when you say that the PNDC law, this is where we can find it in the article and the Constitution. But ethics, we don't know. Greeting with your left hand. You cannot say that it is written in the Bible to greet with your left hand or to greet with your right hand. There are some ethical principles that we do them, they are determined by our behavior, either good or bad. It is by our behavior that will show that yes, this ethical principle that someone is doing is good or bad. But with administrative laws, they are always documented. There are certain places that we can always make references to, but the ethics are not codified. These are some differences. There are a lot of differences in our article that we can also go through and find them in our textbooks. But I have these 2 points as of now. Point number 2, subtopic, how to determine ethics is good or bad. How to determine ethics is good or bad. We have traditions and customs that is self-explanatory, benefit to the society / majority. Yes, what you are doing, does it benefit the society? What I'm doing right now, is it benefiting majority of the class? I think it's a yes. That's why I'm always told, or sometimes there are sources of reminders that come that, but for please, you are waiting for a recorded session on this week's topic. We haven't heard of you. If what I'm doing is not good, I don't think people will be asking for it. But I know by God's grace, it is benefiting the majority. So we can say it is good as an ethical principle to help others too as well. We have principles to determine whether an ethic is good or bad. What are your principles? Do you have principles in life that gives you a brand or something? Virtues too are also there. So your principles, you know that there are certain principles that you have to follow. As a lecturer, there are certain things that you have to do. And there are certain things that you are not supposed to do. You are not supposed to have teacher-students a relationship, bad relationship, whereby you go and do something with any students, then it will reflect in the person's academics, although the person do not deserve for it. These are certain principles that affect you as a person. And as a student, what is also expected of you? What are some principles? You have to learn and pass the exams. If you are not learning and use legal means to go and write the exams and you are being caught, you are going to face several punishments that have been laid down, that have been codified. So these are some principles to determine whether ethic is good or bad, benefit to the society, traditions. There are a lot of them, but I want to make it very short and brief so that we can also engage other sources as well. I know we will be fine. So by saying this, you should know that the main doctrine or the main aim of ethics is to hold people accountable. Ethics hold people accountable because the principle will make you know that these are certain things that you are supposed to do. So if you do this, you are going to receive this punishment, then you are not doing it. If you do this, you are going to receive this reward, then you are doing it. So what is accountability? It could also be an examinable question. What is accountability? Accountability is being responsible for your actions and inactions. I know this is not the first time defining accountability over here. Accountability is being responsible for your actions and inactions, what you do and what you decide not to do. If you decide not to write an exam, you'll be accounted for with your grades that will come out. If you decide to write your exams, you'll be accounted for. So that is your actions and your inactions. And there are 5 components of accountability. I think we're almost done with today's session. This is the last but one subtopic. There are 5 components of accountability. We have the administrative accountability. That is from the administrative law that governs your office. So there are certain laws in the administration that governs whatever you are supposed to do. It governs the management team. It governs the employees, the security men. That is when you know the right appropriate outfit you are supposed to bring, the time you are supposed to be there, certain things that you are supposed to do, certain things that you are not supposed to do. I remember in JHS, Salvation International Academy, as head boy, I always had to put on tie. I always had to put on tie over there. And teachers were not supposed to use phone until school is over. Yes, and by because we're doing that, I was able to win the most disciplined students over there. So yes, administrative accountability. It governs the organization or the agency. That is derived from the administrative law. We also have legal accountability as the next point. Legal accountability. That is when you do not follow the due process but use illegal means. When you do not follow the due process and use illegal means, there is legal accountability that is going to make you accountable. So when you do illegal mining without using the due process, but you go through illegal means and you go and do illegal mining and you are being caught, they are going to account for it. You could be in prison. You could be jailed. You could be fined to pay some amount of tax and do all sort of things. So that's also a definition for legal accountability. That is not following the due processes, but using illegal means to do certain things. You'll be accounted for that. We also have professional accountability. Some standards you are supposed to adhere to with respect to your profession. So if you are a teacher, there are some certain standards that you are supposed to adhere to. You know you are supposed to come to class. You are not supposed to come to class and come and sleep, but you are supposed to come to class and come and teach. If you are a parliamentarian, you know you are supposed to be at the parliament at this particular point in time to make debates and help in what? Passing bills to become laws and other things. So there are these laws and principles that makes you accountable for your actions and inactions. And your accountability, you being accountable for your inactions and inactions will shape you, always put you in line, because if you know you don't do this and you go and do that, these are the consequences that you are going to what? You are going to have. So that is professional accountability. And we also have political accountability, executive accounts for their manifesto promises. See, when after reading a manifesto, you capturing power. When you are coming in for another election, you are going to be held responsible or accountable for certain promises. You promised us to maybe build one district, one factory. Have you been able to do that? What shows that you're able to do that? So we should give you another opportunity to what? To rule as political accountability. Even let's not take it far, even in the department. I remember our former president Honorable Mark Adekun, His Excellency Mark Adekun, when he was leaving his office, he was held accountable to account for what he did during his administration. That is political accountability. Being responsible for certain things that you did and certain things you were not supposed to do. I know our president, His Excellency Truth Ejay, will also follow the same procedure. He also come, he will be held accountable for his actions and inactions. He took us to the Parliament House. He's going to give account of that, the amount of money they used and all those kind of things. And this regulates and what? And regulates our powers, our discretionary powers, and also put us in line to do certain things that are expected of what? Of us. The last component of accountability is the moral accountability. Moral accountability. I think that is self-explanatory when you are being responsible of your morals. What are certain morals that you do? Like, yes, if you are doing certain things that they are bad, you are going to be accounted for it. But when you are bringing some moral virtues that are good, I'm going to account for it. You are going to receive reward of all these kind of things. That is moral accountability. That is all about the five components. We have the administrative accountability, legal accountability, professional accountability, political accountability or political accountability, the moral accountability. Yes. So the last subtopic is the code of conduct. Code of conduct. Code of conduct of administrative law and ethics. Leadership. Leadership. You always have to keep some leadership ability, because if you are holding a position, you are holding leadership role and you are leading people. So you have to have this leadership skill to face challenges and to also make visions for the people to attain them. That is leadership. Integrity. Integrity. That's also another one major factor. Selflessness. Don't think about yourself, but you help the majority. If I'm thinking about myself, I think by this time I should be having my breakfast, getting some Kempinski breakfast right now. Then in the afternoon, I'll go to the beach and go and relax a little while, get proper food, a balanced diet to eat, study for a while. Then in the evening, I also go to church in the evening, or I find something entertaining, watch a movie or something. But not being a selfish person, I'm here also trying to help others. Maybe you already know whatever I'm teaching right now, but there are some people who are also fumbling with it. And we also have to be our brothers and sisters keepers. So I'm also helping others. That is selflessness, code of conduct. As a parliamentarian, as a politician, don't think about yourself, but think about the majority by providing constructing roads for them, providing electricity, potable water, healthcare, and other things. That is selflessness. We also have justice and fairness. If this person deserves this, we give it to the person. If this person doesn't deserve it, we don't give it to the person. If you deserve this punishment or this reward, that is what you are going to receive. There shouldn't be any external influence in our court decision making and other things. And even in our organization, you know that this promotion goes to this person. You should give it to the person. If this person has done something that is not wrong and is supposed to leave the company, you let the person go. Don't say that the person is your family relative, so the person should continue to do whatever he's doing. Then you don't cast you or you come home. Justice and fairness. If the guy is disturbing you, boy, it's a relationship anymore. Let him go. If the girl is disturbing you, let her go. You get another one. If you don't get another one, you come and join me. then we live together as broken-hearted people in the world. Yes, I'm trying to build an association. Yes, the PHP, the broken-hearted people. That is just by the way. So yes, justice and fairness. So these are the code of conduct: accountability, integrity, leadership, selflessness, justice, and fairness. I think we are done with today's session. We've spoke about, in conclusion, we spoke about the administrative law as the legal framework that regulates administrative agencies. We know that the agencies, they have some discretionary powers to decide to do certain things on their own. We also talked about the jurisdiction, that is working within your territory, and when you go beyond it, whatever you do is a null and void. That is ultra virus. They talked about the components of administrative law. We have the executive order, court decisions, several rules and regulations. We also spoke about why administrative law, and the key one, the first one is to prevent the abuse of discretionary powers, to promote transparency and accountability, set parameters, and promote public interest. Then ethics. Ethics are well-defined principles that determines what they ought to do. These administrative law agencies ought to do, or individuals in the states who are holding positions or not even holding positions, as what we ought to do as individuals. Difference between administrative law and ethics: laws are codified, ethics are not codified, but they are determined by our behavior. A law affects a jurisdiction, but ethics is universal. We also looked at how to determine whether ethic is good or bad. You have the customs and traditions. You have benefits to the society, principles, virtues. Then we talked about ethics promotes accountability. That is the primary goal of ethics, to promote accountability. Then we define accountability as being responsible for your actions and inactions. Components of accountability: you have five major components. That is the administrative accountability, legal accountability, professional accountability. You have the moral accountability and political accountability. Then the last subtopic was code of conduct, as we've already mentioned, the code of conduct. I wish you all best of luck in our upcoming eyes, and I wish you all best of luck in our studies. And I wish you all a merry, merry, merry Christmas. Please, this Xmas, don't worry. If you don't have money, you just call. I'll send you some money. But if I send you the money, it comes with interest, 50% interest, 50%. So if you can afford it, then you talk to me, then we all negotiate. But let's make sure we enjoy ourselves and have fun too as well. I'm going to end this session to be posted. I think the last video I have to post before we go for our Xmas break is the public personnel. Yes, so I'll also do that as soon as possible so that we can all prepare for our eyes. Don't forget to leave bring your ID card and be there on time. Thank you so much, and I hope you enjoyed this particular session. My name remains Nana Bafurua, as someone who is also helping students with the academic showdown on the 212 and 213. The 212 videos will come. It's quite unfortunate as a but we are on it. We make sure you do the needful thing too as well. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day. Bye.